Right, hello Sam, how are you? Nice to see you. So anyway, today I am just making some oak veneered panels. It's going to be a part of a project. This video is probably going to be posted the end of this week. We are, where to is it? I've got some oak cut, alright. I cut this a while back now, we machined all this. So basically I'm going to be making a shaker oak stool. And that oak stool then is going to be a part of a dressing table I made for the bedroom. So I'm going to make an oak shaker stool to go under there. So it's going to be a new video posted on that. You're thinking of getting the NW1000. It is absolutely awesome, Sam. That's all I can say about it. It is brilliant. Yes, everything is going well. The MW1000 is a lovely table. I don't have a problem with it. I don't know if you've seen a video, Sam. I did put a video up on what I do with this and my setup and everything. I do own an MFT3, which I've got by there. I don't know if you can see it where my finger is. It is just by there in that area. But when I do actually finish my house, because I've still got quite a few jobs to do to finish the house, when I finish the house, I will be building all, making this into a proper workshop then, because I'm a bit messy in here, we're a bit cluttered, and I'm going to fully turn it into a workshop. So I think what I'm going to eventually do is I'm going to have an MFT free table here. I'm going to have my MW1000. I have got a KS60 up on top of there. I don't know if you can see it. I do own two of them, oddly. I got another one I got by there, which I had to take to work. So I'm going to have my microsaw set up. I'm going to have an MFT3 by there. I'm going to have my CMS router. I'm going to have all that set up with a CMS by here. So I just got a full workbench right the way through. So that's what I'm going to eventually get onto. We are going to make a big workbench as well. I've got a big clamp that I've bought. I can't remember the name of it. Everyone uses them. So yeah, I've got a lot to do. It's going to be over a few years, all this project. Right, what's this saying? I know I'm yabbering on. I'm obviously going to carry on working now in a minute. What's going on? What seems a bit big, Sam? The MFT3, is it? Do you do it commercially or just personal projects? Personal projects mainly, Sam. It's a bit more of DIY in my channel. I do jobs for customers, don't get me wrong. Some of the things you see on my channel featured are for customers as well. The MFT3, yeah. I do find it a bit bulky. It does come out a bit. That's why I don't use it personally myself. I haven't got a lot of space in here, so I do try and keep things to a minimal. Obviously, as you can see, when I've got the table off my MW1000 coming out here, I haven't got a lot of space left as a walkway by here. But when I do eventually get around to making a load of videos and sorting all of this workshop out, I will have a lot more space. Obviously, I've got a lot of gear because I run a kitchen and bathroom company. As you know, you need a lot of tools and a lot of gear. So I just got to make sure that I plan everything, set it all out right. Obviously, get rid of everything I'm not using. It's hard to throw things away, as we know. Mainly because I buy many tools and no space to use them. I'm exactly the same, Sam. Watch this now. I'll give you a little sneak peek, all right? I don't know if you can see in there, Sam. There's a lot of Festool hidden away in there. I don't feature them in the background on my videos, so I'll just pop you by there. Yeah, so I do own a lot of tools, I'm not going to lie. I'm always investing in new equipment. It's the best way to go about. We buy something and then there's a new version of it and we all want the new version. But if it's good for the health and it speeds things up, there's no harm in investing in new tools, is it? But the thing I find, the hardest thing I find, how are you, David? The hardest thing I find is actually once you've bought that new tool, is selling the old one on. I can't part with them. Green with envy. No, Sam, I'll tell you a little story. About 40% of all of them, there was this guy on Gumtree. This was about 5 years ago now, maybe 6 years ago. And I wanted to buy the CS50 saw. And there was an advert on Gumtree for the Festool CS50 saw. and the guy said the saw was only 3 months old and he only wanted £800 for it. Now at the time, that saw with all the setup was 1,500 quid. So I thought, I'm going to go and have a look at this saw. I went to his house, it was brand new. I said, why are you selling this? He said, oh, I just want to get rid of it. I don't get on with it. I've got some other Festool gear if you're interested. So anyway, I left his house with that saw. I was happy. It was my first big Festool purchase. And he phones me up and he was constantly texting me over a period of a week. He sent me a load of photos. He had about 14 grand's worth of Festool stuff. He showed me all the receipts and paperwork and everything for it. And he said, if you come to my house tonight and give me 5 grand, you can take the lot, everything. I don't want none of it. And that included the MF3 table. It was a KS60 miter saw with all the stands and everything. There was loads anyway. So I drove to his house. I had to take 2 vanfuls from his house. Handed him the money. A week later, he then asked me, can I buy some of my Festool stuff back off you? Because I got a few jobs. I said, well, I don't really want to sell it back to you now. I've bought it all, but because I feel like I've robbed you, I said I will sell you some things back. So he then had the KS60 back with all the stands. He had the combi drill. He had batteries off me. He had loads of stuff. I gave him about 2 grand's worth back. A week later, he then said, I don't want this Festool gear, Mark. I want Milwaukee. Can you buy that back off me for £1,000? I said, you're losing another grand now. He said, I don't care, I want it gone from my house. So I then went back, rebought all those tools back off him. I didn't really want to buy them. I said, I don't want the saw, I already own one. He said, have the KS60, I don't want it. He said, just get it out of my house. So then I bought all of that back, brought it back home, and then he's asking me again then, oh, can I buy a couple more things? I said, I'm not doing this now. I said, you're making me travel back and forth. I said, you're wasting my time. And that was it. And then from there, as you know, we have the Festool bag, and I just keep reinvesting and buying, and that's where I am today now. So anyway, that's my story on them. So all we're doing, I just hit the table. I'm just going to be cutting a few of these now today, and we're just going to be gluing them up. It's a simple job, nice and easy. We've got some oak veneers by here. I must have bought these about 5 years ago. So I got some nice oak veneers by here. I've worked out the dimensions and a cut list. They look lovely. I've used these before on a previous job for a customer. And we're just going to glue these up. It's all nice, simple, easy job. Don't know if a lot of you do veneers that's watching. Where is it? Do you know what? I picked it up and put it down. Obviously for veneers, Tight Bond do a veneer glue. But I will tell you now, I've been using the Tight Bond original veneers and I've never had a problem with it. I'll just show you a veneer that I've done before. These are from previous projects on you. There we are. That's the Tight Bond. I don't know if you can see. We had a little line on there. But I will tell you now, they sand out very easily. It doesn't cause a problem with the veneer. But that's the Tight Bond original. This has been glued now for about 2 years, I'd say. I was hoping to use these panels on this project, but they'll come for something else. So I won't throw them away. I always keep hold of things like that. But yeah, you can see the Tight Bond by there where it's all squeezed out. It holds well anyway. So yeah, that's the glue I'd use on these. I don't know if any of you got any other recommendations what wood glue you'd use on your veneers. But I've never had a problem with the Tight Bond original. So that's what I'll be doing today. I do have Tight Bond 2, but I don't think it's worth using that. This is just going in my bedroom, so I'm going to stick to what I normally use. Don't have a problem with this glue, and that's what we're going to use today. So all I'm doing, these panels are 250 in here. I'm just going to chop this at 250. Nice simple work with a plunge saw. And then I'll sand the face of the MDF then. I give it a nice sand, and then I'll just glue up and away to go. When I glue veneers, mind, I don't bother gluing the back of the veneer. I do one coat of wood glue with my little roller by here. I put a nice even coat on there. Place them all on here. I put a bit of plastic in between each layer. I just grab a load of Festool clamps, clamp them down with a bit of timber, leave them for 12 hours and they're always perfectly flat. That's the way I do it. No one's taught me how to do it, I'm not going to lie. But I've never had a problem doing it like that. Don't know if any of you got any tips and tricks, any other ways you to do it, just drop them in the comments below there. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Right, so anyway, I'm going to make a start on this because I'm yapping as I do. I'm going to have a sip of my tea, everyone. And then you might hear me just being a little bit quiet then for 5 minutes, alright? Pop that there. Alright, so all I'm doing, like I said, is 250 cuts on this. Nothing fancy. I just need to go and grab my saw a sec. Give me a second. Where is he? Tell you what, mind, I don't know if any of you are part of the Festool Talk group in the UK. We're in the UK. There was loads of people whinging about the TS55K on there the other day. I was pretty shocked. I think it's an awesome saw. I've never had a problem with it. I always pick this one up over the older ones, but when you've bought something newer, it's the one you like to use, isn't it? So I just set my hose up now and we're away to go. Just unravel it, that is. There we go. Pop that in there. Here we are, Sam. This is what they like. You get a little bit of wobble on them. But what I found when you're using this table, alright, maybe I should just post a little short on it, to be honest with you. You can get yourself a piece of timber. Alright, what I've done in the past, I just pop a timber on there. Grab yourself a clamp, alright? Put your clamp in first. Get yourself a timber. Right, you can press down on the table. I know the timber's sticking out, alright? Don't think I pressed it down enough. And if you pop one both sides, you can get rid of quite a bit of the wobble. I know it's still wobbling now, but I done it not long back and it did take out a lot of the wobble on there. But a lot of the work you're doing on these tables, don't forget, is you're sanding. You're not really pushing. You can't plane on, yeah? I will say that. You can't hand plane or nothing like that because there's too much movement in them. See that? There is way too much movement for hand planing. But if you're just using power tools, sanding, MFT and everything else like that, it isn't a problem. It is absolutely great. Alright, I do like the table. I'm not going to lie. I always give you my honest opinion on things. Nothing's perfect, but there is a little bit of wobble in them. But it's fine for what I use it for. I'll just get my saw set now. I just got a little bit of cutting to do. There's only 4 of these panels to cut. Connect your saw up. Seems odd doing this on a live. So used to being out here by myself. Right, so I'm not going too fancy on this. Just 250 is the cuts, the panels are 250. So all I'll do with that, I'll just do one mark. I've got the square set on here. So I'll just line that up and cut. I'm just going to pop this under here, just to raise it up a bit. Alright, that sits lovely on there. Move this down a bit. I haven't got any spare scrap of it, any scrap offcuts now to put under the table. So I just line that up to my line then, and that's it. That should be nice and square. It's good enough for what I need it to do. I'll get my saw and I'll set my depth, and I'll just cut away. Measure the right. There we are, 250, 250. So that's all I'm doing. I'm cutting myself 4 of these. And Nothing fancy, like I said. I've got my thing full with it. But obviously living in the UK, we don't get a lot of space. I watch all these American things, and the houses, gardens, garages, they're all massive. And a lot of people turn their garages, don't they, into their workshop because they're so big out there. It's crazy. But the houses are a lot smaller in the UK. Move that to by here. Don't know if any of you bought these squares. They're absolutely great. They save a lot of time, a lot of hassle. I have got a video on my channel about this square. I find when I cut in all four directions with the square, it's only about half a mil out this. A lot of people say theirs are bang on. A lot of people have complained theirs are out a mile. But if you find these are out, tends to be the guide rail that's the problem. If it's taken a knock or it's got a slight curve, well, it's not going to square up nice on the guide rail, is it? So I think we need to renew our guide rails every 4 or 5 years, I'd say, depending on use. If you need to use the square on there, that is. I should have sorted this out, mind. I'm trying to do this now. I haven't got the space, see, there we go, pop into there. Should be able to cut that now. Lovely. I'll give you one tip, mind, whenever you pop a plunge saw on your guide rail, always give it a wiggle to make sure you're locked in. It's quite easy to start the saw up on the guide rail and get it to kick off and hit it. I haven't hit this rail, but I've certainly done it once. I think a lot of people have done that. Don't fall. Alright, last one of these now, and then I can get gluing up then. 250 for that. This one should be able to sit on there, hopefully. Bit of a risky cut. No, we're alright. There we go, she'll stable there. Cut all four of them now. Pop that aside. Move this out of the way. Let's have a look what they're looking like to this square I made. You know what, that's not too bad. It says about half a mil in that. It is about half a mil. So yeah, if you're buying yourself one of these squares, like I said, mine's about half a mil out. They're not perfect. People have had some and they say they are perfect. But for me, mine's always half a mil out. But that can be user error, alright? Don't forget the thickness of the pencil lines as well. That can throw you out half a mil quite easily. So there's all those little things. They probably are bang on, and a lot of the time it's just user error. But half a mil is nothing for me for what I do, so I find it just right. So I'm just grabbing myself a sander. This always seems to be the sander I pick up the most. Don't know what it is, I just seem to like the Delta very much. It is a great sander. I don't know if those of you watching this right now have got Festool sanders. But what you do find with these sanders, I've got something in my eye. With these papers, they're quite pricey, right? They are expensive. I think you can pick these up. This is a pack of 100. I think you can pick this up for about 60 quid, something like that. But people think, oh, they cost a fortune to run. They really don't, trust me. Because if you're buying the rolls of sandpaper on the old square ones and you keep cutting the little squares and putting it on, you use a lot more paper. Because you've got these on the dust extractor, these last about 5 times longer. I find these are actually cheaper to run than the old style sanders. You cut the little bit of square paper, because those rolls of paper have gone right up in price now. So yeah, it is expensive to buy all your papers to start with, but once you've bought them, you find you're not buying boxes of these every single week. As long as you're careful with your sanding and keeping the pad flat on the workpiece, you're not going to have any build up on there then. But these pads, they last a while, they're good. So you try not to throw your old ones away as well. And you can always reuse them then. Where to is it? Here we go. These are handy as well. I don't know if any of you got any of these. You probably are watching these videos. You work in a workshop yourself. These are great. You got your little hand pad. And then when you got your old papers then from your 125 sander, you just pop them on there. And you've got a nice hand sander then on top. So you're not even buying papers for this. You're using all the old papers, which is great. I do love them. I think I bought that in Axminster about 5 years ago. This was about 25 quid, mind, this little thing. Absolute fortune. If you want to buy something once, don't you, and that's it. So all we're going to do now is sand these. So I'll just pop one of these in the way, but yeah. Chuck one of them by there, look. And then you can just pop that against there. Job done. Right, move that. Move that. Make sure we've got a nice bit of space here. Don't think I'll bother clamping this up. It's just a little piece of MDF, isn't it? So I'll pop this on here. Take the guard off. You can see this sander's had a lot of use. This was bought off our guy as well, Sam, this sander, but I have bought another 3 sanders myself. I do own quite a few sanders now. I think you get into the sanding bug, to be honest with you. I bought quite a few of them. But there's a sander for every job, isn't there? You got the Delta, that gets right in the corners for you. I've also got the squared version of this. That's a lovely sander as well. Obviously, if you want to take off a lot of material, I started off making a few resin tables and I realised these were no good, so I had to buy a Rotex for that. Obviously, that was a big investment back then. It's an £500 sander, isn't it, the Rotex? But I've had my Rotex now for 5 years now, I think. Yeah, 5 years I've had the Rotex. I haven't missed a beat. It's a great sander. So all I'm doing now is taking the edge off this for veneering. I was just taking the edge off there. Obviously this side, MDF's got a very smooth face to it. So we just roughed it up a bit with a 120 grit. And then we can use a Type Bond original and that will stick like that. And it will stay, trust me, I've got pieces by that just to prove that. So that's what I do with my panel. So I'll go ahead and sand all 4 of these now. Simple job, nothing complicated. number 2. Obviously the beauty of these tables, if you want to free your hand up, obviously you can pop a clamp in. Nothing fancy, is it? You can just pop one of them in there. But obviously you've got to move the clamp out of the way for sanding then. I don't know if you're still on, yeah, Sam? But as you can see, when you're sanding on this table, there's not a lot of movement. It's just right for doing sanding. Alright? I find it great. I don't really need a clamp, so I'm going to pop him over there. Right, so let me just show you what I was talking about earlier, alright? These are the pads. You see me sand 4 faces on there, yeah? That's the pad, look at it. Clean, nothing on there, no blockages, everything's pristine, and you can just carry on sanding with these pads. So that's the difference of a fast tool sander. That's why I buy them, and that's why I like to use them. Now, if I had my old sander here, if I could find it, the ones you cut the sheets of paper and put them on, that'd be fully blocked up now with nonsense, alright? I'd probably be ripping that piece of paper off and put another piece on. So I would have gone through 2 pads worth of paper. That will sand for another week. So that's the difference in using them, alright? They do cost a few quid, but trust me, you will save money in the long run. So I'm just going to pop that out of the way now. I'll get the wood glue set up, and then we can just glue up some veneers then. Pop that there out of the way. Move these. There we go. So we're going to have a bit of glue. One of them. We got 4 of these to do. What else do I need? Bit of protection. Let me just check if I got enough of these. Yeah, they'll be alright. So all I do when I'm doing a veneer, alright, I'll glue up, I'll put my veneer on there. These panels are perfect, look, see, so I can have a row of clamps all the way around here. If I move that in there, I can clamp in all directions, so that's good for me. So I'll glue up, I'll put a veneer on there, I'll put a piece of that on top, then I'll glue up another one, and so on until I get all the way to the top. And I have got I got a spare piece to put on top? I cut 4 panels just now. Let me grab that one. And then I got another piece of this MDF which I'll place on top of there, and I'll clamp it all down and we leave it 12 hours. So what I can do then is just lift my table out of the way with all of these clamped up. I can stand it over there, and then I can carry on with my day's work. I do leave them overnight normally, so I will be gluing this up today, and I'll crack on with this job tomorrow then. So we're just about to glue them up now. Let me just move that over there. Just pop these by out of the way. 3. Yeah, that's enough. So I've got plenty of them. Wood glue, pop that there, and my veneers. Here's the veneers. These are quite thick, these ones. Alright, they're not wafer thin, these veneers. There's a couple of marks on them and so on, but once they glue down nice and flat, you can see for yourself. There's the veneers. They are quite nice, these ones. They didn't cost me a lot. But you'd be surprised what you can do with veneer, alright? Once all this is done, you'll be shocked. You'll think that's an actual oak panel when it isn't. So, let's go ahead now and glue these up. What I was thinking of doing today, mind, is leaving this on mute. And then I could have had my radio on, because obviously I'm in this workshop right now. You're watching me, I'm talking, and I haven't got a radio on, and I love my radio. So we'll go ahead now and glue these up. Pop a bit of tight bond in there. I don't know why I chuck a tidy t-shirt on to do stuff like this. I rack all my tidy clothes. I don't spend a lot on clothes anymore because I've always got something to do. Right, so this is the side I've just sanded. I know that just by the feel of the MDF. This is very smooth. This has got a nice rougher finish to it. Obviously we just sanded this with a 120 grit. So all I'll do now is just put a layer of wood glue on here. Like I said earlier, they do sell a tight bond specialised for veneers, but I've never had an issue with this. I just use one of these rollers, put a nice even coat on here. You'd be surprised how awkward it is to roll the wood glue on there, because there's a lot of suction. And you will use a nice bit of glue on these. Keep spreading the glue. Probably going to make a mess today now, you watch. Try and give it a good even coat. I haven't cut these to height, so I don't know where the veneers are going to finish. Let's have a look. Pop your veneer on there. Obviously they're a bit long. There's one. Put a piece of this plastic over the top, I do. Get your second board. Place that on there, make sure we're in the right place for clamping. Lovely. If any bits off or was left, I should have hoovered these. Let me just feel the other side just to check. No, that's definitely the right way. Bit more glue in there. Glue up our second panel now. And what I'll do, see, I'll pop back on you tomorrow then, and I'll show you what they look like. Alright, just to prove a point, this is the way I do it anyway. Don't know if I'm 100% right, but all I'm telling you guys and girls, whoever's watching this, is I've never had an issue doing it this way. So if you want to use this method, carry on, because it hasn't caused me a problem. It's about 20 degrees in this room today, I'd say. Not too hot, not too cold. Obviously it can vary during different temperatures. Pop that over there. Pop this one on. It's got a couple of cracks up there. So look which way that is. Yeah, I think it'll sit better this way. I like the look of that side, so I'm going to do that way. Place it on. Line them up. Line that up. There's your second one. On to the third. No need for any fancy machines to do this job. All you need is a nice few sets of clamps. You'd be surprised how hard it is to spread this glue once you've sanded the MDF. It is a little bit of a graft. Oop. Come on, baby. Next. Place the veneer on there. The wood glue on my hand. Line them up. These veneers ain't square, mind. That should be good. Next. Pop that on there. That's definitely the side I sanded. I know it's the side I sanded because I can feel little tiny bits on the MDF. So I know it's definitely the side. I know the feel of it. Get this glue on there now. I don't know if I've got enough in this tray. Slap it on there. Probably got a bit too much on here now. There we are, that's spread out. That's good enough for me. Pop this veneer on there. Tiny little bit, this one. There she goes. That's like that. Get yourself another piece of plastic. Pop that on there. Line all these up. Bit of MDF to cap it off. Cap it all off, and then all we got to do is clamp him up. So I'll just get my clamps now and we'll clamp him up. It is going to slip and slide, mind, on this phase. Once you've got them all lined up, mind, it's easy then. Line them up there. Do my 4 corners first. This side. There's that one. Yep, that's fine. I'll go with that. Get some more clamps in here now. Pop one over here. One over there. Looks like I'm missing a few clamps here. So we'll have a look now where they've gone. One there. That's not going nice, come on. Now look if I got some more. I got 2 of them sorts of clamps, so we can use these. One there. One there. Another clamp here. Any more in here? None in there. And my other MFT set. Let's have a look. Put any in there? Sure, I had some more clamps. I'll have a look now. Pop one of these on here. One of these on here. I'm just going to run up there to see if I got another couple of clamps. So I'll just double check. We should have a few more clamps out by here now and try and have a look to see what I've done with them. Oh, I got another one under here. So we got another one of these on there. What's this one doing? Pop him in here. Got enough space for that one. That's that. I'm just going to go out by here now and just have a look for another 2 clamps. I'm sure I got another 2, yeah. Should have got them ready. Got another 2 by here. Do I put one there or do I move one of these? I think I'll move one of these. It would be nice to put another one in there as well. One there. One there. One more I could do with, but I don't think I've got it. Another one in there. There's all of them. I got one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's odd. I'm missing one. I'm sure of it. Let me just check out there. 2 sacks. I can't get out there because I got the camera set up. So anyway, I think this is enough clamps on here. I've done it like this in the past. I haven't had a problem with it. I would like another one in there. So maybe what I'll do, I'll just angle this one slightly. To there. Maybe angle that one a little bit more into there. But I think we'll be good, and I will show you the results tomorrow as well on this, just to prove a point. But this is how I do veneers. That's lovely. So that's the veneering done. Obviously, I'm going to be back on and off here all day now. We're going to get the domino set up. I'll just show you now. I got some oak. I got to get the miter saw set up. So here's the oak that I've cut, I've planed. We're going to turn this then. There's some knots and things like that. It's just oak I won't use for another job, but I do use them in the house because I like all of that. And we're going to be making shaker panels. We're going to have oak inserts, shaker panels, and I'm going to make a shaker stool. It's going to be a video posted on my channel this week, but we're going to have a hidden little secret on there which I'm going to make, and that's going to be posted by Friday this week, so stay tuned for that. I know I haven't been posting a lot recently. I've been busy doing family activities and things with the kids, so we're going to get back on it. Obviously there will be a lot more content during autumn when you're home and I've got nothing else to do. So yeah, stay tuned for all of them. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well if you want to carry on seeing my content. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. It'll probably be in about half hour's time. So those of you on here now, if you want to jump back on, like and subscribe so you get notified when I'm live. And I'll just move this bench out of the way now. I'll get the miter saw set. I'm going to go ahead then and start cutting this oak. So yeah, those of you who want to carry on watching, I'll be back on in about 15 minutes. I'm going to get myself a cup of tea and I'll see you on the next video.